Okay. Sorry about that. I don't know. It just kept saying error occurred. So since I don't know much about anything, I just kept clicking it until it said it worked. I'm out of storage apparently in my StreamYard. So I don't know if that has something to do with it or what, but welcome in everyone. There's a lot to cover tonight. And I'm just going to say hi to a few people before I get going. Hoosier, thank you for being here. Crimezilla. Burn, good to see you, sir. Tree Monster. Troll Shovel. Good to see you. Hello, Sarah. Good to see you. Lake. Crime Geek. Good. Okay, we got some mods in the house. We might need them tonight. True Sleuth, good to see you. If you can, I know not a lot of people like me, and there's a lot of people that I don't like either, you know, and that's perfectly fine. That's just adulting, you know, that's just part of life. But I do hope that even if you don't like me, you will at least listen to this, the part where I start really talking about the two cases that I'm going to talk about and the correlation between these two cases and the tragic ending, the brutal, savage ending of these two cases, and compare them to some of the YouTubers that we have in this community. And no, it's not going to be a private matter for me. There's a way to do things though. Driving up and down streets and, you know, doxing dads and houses and names and victims' Facebook and different things like that. Absolutely not acceptable. It's just not. Threatening to kill people, murder them, comparing them to be BG, which we're going to show that later because that really pissed me off. And just all of the things that have been going on in the last couple weeks, especially in this community, the double standards of one person is a hero for covering someone's family member, and everyone else is a villain if you even attempt it. Well, I don't really give a fork about being a villain, so we're going to do it. And at the end of this, we're really going to get to some of the true crime community. I have video, I have audio, I have screenshots. And we are going to just kind of talk about that and what's been going on. And, you know, but I really can't stress this enough. Like I literally can't. I have playlists. I'm going to add them to the description because I forgot. But they will be added. And if you can't stand to watch me or listen to what I have to say, please go to the description of this video and share there's two playlists. One is called the YouTube channel is called Domestic Havens, domestic.org, domestic safe haven, something like that.org. And it's a whole playlist of very useful content, especially if you're going to be a true crime creator. You have a responsibility to educate yourself on the biggest true crime. It's the highest rates of homicide, you know, offenders that murder that are unknown to the victims, serial killers, very, very rare. However, homicide inside of where the offender knows the person, domestic violence, very, very high. And they're even saying now it's more of instead of that circle of violence, it's the escalation of domestic violence in, I guess they're calling it now, interpersonal relationships violence. And strangulation is absolutely an an escalation. And I'm going to prove that to you later. It will lead to, it can very well, it's a very dangerous place to leave. And we all know when you leave your abuser, just like my friend, Angie Warnock, that is the highest, because abuse is about power and control. That's it. And when you leave and they are losing that, that's why I'm very fearful for whatever is going on with Greeno right now, because that's one dude, I know his pattern. You can check out my very lengthy playlist that will continue to be added to all the time until he is dealt with. And they need to take this dude seriously. Everyone does. I don't know why everyone keeps giving him second chances. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. How many more years? I mean, good Lord. There's no change there. And if there is, the change, the act, that's the very small portion where he is able to swindle and con you into believing that he has changed. That's it. That is the only fake part about everything that he does. CJ, case closed with CJ, has been a nightmare of a person. And apparently in real life as well, for his wife, who, man, I am very worried about her, and I'm very worried about Greeno's ex, because normally when he spirals, it looks like it might be about stuff online, but it's actually about a girlfriend trying to break up with him, you know? So that's why I'm concerned about her and her safety and everyone else's safety that he has threatened. And especially with the Ohio courts just not really seeming to Huber Heights, not really seeming to take this very seriously. Ohio was one of the last states to make strangulation in a domesticated partnership a felony. So they are very you'll see here later. And this is a dude, CJ is a guy that this isn't the first go round. This is an escalating thing. And it even says that in the police reports. Okay. So, this is a dangerous time for her. And I'm very concerned for her safety because of that. And I hope that her family knows the signs and they are helping her. And there is someone in her life that is, because it is, like you're going to see it with this Lauren Johannson case that I'm about to cover, kept going back and going back and going back. These types of abusers, it's not like they just start off date one and punch you in the face or try to choke you. No, it's a very slow process, and they all have the same one. They all have the same one. And yes, women can be this way too. Look at Sarah Boone, but men are stronger by our biological makeup and therefore more lethal. And they are find me a country where they're not, where men are not predominantly the ones that the domestic violence ends in homicide. That is this is just a scary time and for her. And I hope that she knows that she is worth so much more than what she is going through, and for her to be able to just spot, to go back and look at all of the things that has gone on from the very beginning of their relationship until this, and find all of those little things that were done to control you, to manipulate you, especially when they're they're doing everything right. That is a part of it. That is a part of the act. That is a part of the draw for them. They don't, it can't even give you if they're giving you a compliment, it's going to be, oh, I love, you look that dress. I love that dress on you. I do like the color pink better than blue though, but it looks nice. And just simple little things that are so indirect that they're very hard to spot. But when you are looking back in retrospect, you will be able to see all of these in your relationship. Greeno's girlfriend as well. And, but I wanted to stay out of this. I take enough shit, I take enough. And I just, I'm getting ready to leave on vacation. I don't really want to get involved. I know there's going to be a bunch of pushback. Until I read this comment this was Curious Contrarian. He is taking the approach of this is a private matter, and so is Fire and Ice, and I guess Mark Cohen, aka the Real Dragon, aka Redfoot, aka one of the major crime scene disseminators, aka apparently now Fire and Ice, has said so as well, and I'll show you those later on at the end of this live. But some of these same people were just, Marv from Beyond the Evidence was just a hero for covering the prof's son. While I don't like the prof one bit, never denied that, never gonna. I think what he does is wretched. However, let's call a spade here. She's not a hero if I'm not a hero, right? For covering this true crime case. These two are true crime cases. So, just a lot of stuff going on. But so he posts that, and I get it. I think, have a little bit more grace for Dan. And I think that Adrian and him have amazing hearts. I wish they're alive. I wish that they would really be able to see that, while you may be talking about and writing about peace and love, your lives are really not about that, especially when CJ and Greeno come on. I have a clip to show you later, and I don't even think I'll be able to. I literally think my channel will get taken down if I do. I don't know. There's so many horrible things said by, especially Greeno, and just the vitriol in the chat, but I do think they have good hearts, and I think that I think they do know CJ's wife, and I think that kind of probably is a little bit different for them. And I hope that they're helping, and I hope that they know how to help her in the right way, and then it has no sway towards helping CJ at all. It was, and I have the clip. It is absolutely terrifying that Greeno and CJ found each other, and that Greeno claims to have, and CJ says he talks to my wife and he's helped us, and have all these clips for later. That's pretty scary that he would be, because Greeno said that he was talking on the phone with him while this was all going down, and that he would probably be guilty too when he addressed this issue, and then proceeded to say that it needs to be a private matter. There's a way to do it, and there's a way to not do it. And but this Lauren case that I'm about to show you, I saw this on Twitter, and it was just oh my gosh. I started reading about it, and then as I'm reading about it, the correlations between what's going on with CJ and his wife in this case were too much to not pay attention. And then I saw this comment on Curious Contrarian's community post about, not getting into the thick of it with this, talking about the CJ and his wife situation. So I'm gonna read that to you now. I'll show it later, but for now I just want to read it. It says, I understand what you're saying, but keeping quiet is what causes the stigma of shame women feel. His wife has no reason to feel anything but the strong, beautiful woman she is. This is a CJ problem. She did nothing to deserve this. Look up Jennifer Underhill in Illinois. That's what happens when people don't get involved. Have the mentality that it's a private family business. Maybe if many of us, myself included, had not let it be her business, she would still be here. Instead, after many slaps, pushes, chokes, he went too far and he beat her to death. So I did look up Jennifer Underhill, and we are going to cover her brutal murder right after I cover the savage murder of Lauren Johannson by Bricen Rivers. And then, I'm always going to go back to Gabby Petito. That hysteria we saw? I have a feeling that CJ's wife, he's able to wind her up into those hysterias that we saw Gabby having right before he strangled her to death. So just another correlation of why this is so important. Okay, so let me pull up the first article here. WL, where do you have it? Okay, is everything going good in the chat? Hi, Crimezilla. I didn't say hi earlier. Tree Monster. Blame me for the StreamYard. Okay. Hey, 1970s hippie. Hey, Destin. Good to see you back. Hey, Chris. Professor Pug. Thank you for being here. Okay. Hey, Deb. Hey, Lighting the Way. Johnny. Hello, sir. Hey, Jerry. Oh, thank you so much, Crime Geek. Thank you. Liking the glasses, Geek Squad. Yeah, my eyes are... it's either the glasses or those bifocals that look really weird on the live. So guess we're doing these. Yeah, it is absolutely unacceptable behavior. All right. Hi, Pigs Fly. Good to see you. Hey, Prickle Joy. Yeah. Oh, I did want to mention that. Curious Contrarian, he had a segment. I hope that he turns it into its own video separate from the other like 8 hours, where he had on a seemingly, I haven't checked her credentials or anything, but a seemingly very well knowledged forensic psychologist, I believe, that was talking about, some key points in this domestic violence, and Freckle Joy was on there and talking about her own experience and also as an EMT. And that portion was really good with the two of them and the other people that were not just being weird. But that part was like, I hope he makes that because it's an important part. But it's getting, no one's going to see it because it's just lost in all of those hours. So I really do encourage him to make that its own thing, or do a shorter live with a few of those people, or even the commenter. I'm clearly close with Jennifer Underhill. That was a very powerful statement, and I'm glad I read it. And if I've missed you, I'm very sorry. I am not the best at doing two things at once, ever. So we are going to get right into the gosh, that light is bothering me so bad. I'm gonna have to move it. Oh, what's the problem now? All right, just give me a second. I gotta move this light. My eyes are killing me. It's better. Unmute. Oh, sorry. And hey, James. Okay. Let me read this. Now, where did I get it? Oh, there it is. Okay. This is Harrison County, Mississippi. This is an article by 13 WLOX. We've learned new details in the murder of 22-year-old Lauren Johannson, allegedly beaten to death by her ex-boyfriend, Bricen Rivers. It's not, I mean, it's allegedly, I guess, because it hasn't been adjudicated, but yeah. WLOX received court documents from our sister station, WSMV, in Nashville, Tennessee, showing how the accused abuser was let out of a Tennessee jail and the apparent communication breakdown that led to his release. We now have a timeline and a paper trail detailing the circumstances that allowed Rivers to get out of jail, return to Mississippi, and find Lauren Johannson. Her father calling what happened a failure of the criminal justice system. Monday, December 11th of 2023. This is a timeline. Johannson and Rivers were on vacation together in Nashville, Tennessee. According to the court documents, an argument between the couple escalated after leaving a bar. Listen to this part. Maybe it doesn't say it. It doesn't. I read it somewhere else. He thought she was looking at someone, like that she was, and so he lost his mind. Just something small like that, going out in public. And even if someone looks at you, these guys can't handle that kind of stuff. They're jealous. So that was the part that I don't think this article says. Metro Nashville police officers said they found Johansen severely beaten inside a car with Rivers in Germantown, a Nashville suburb. The interior of the car was covered in blood, including a handgun police found inside. Rivers was arrested and charged with 2 counts of aggravated kidnapping, 1 count of aggravated stalking, and 1 count of coercion of a witness. Because he kept trying to interfere with the 911 call. A week later, so this is Monday, December 18th, a preliminary hearing was set for Rivers, and his bond was set at $250,000. Lauren Johannson's father, Lance Johansen, I think I'm saying that wrong, told WLOX last weekend he begged the judge not to let Rivers out of jail because he is dangerous. And he knew it. So sad. Quote, I sat in the courtroom in Nashville and told the judge that if they let him out, he was going to kill her, Lance said. He had assaulted her. This was probably the 5th or 6th time where they would get into a fight and he would beat her. They would get her away from him for a while, but he would find a way to weasel back in. Wednesday, March 13th, 2024, Rivers requested a reduced bond. Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024, Judge Cheryl Blackburn approved a reduced bond. So it was reduced by 100, what was that? Just 250. So down to $150 with specific conditions. Rivers was ordered not to leave Davidson County, Tennessee, and to wear a GPS monitor after posting bond. Also noted in his bond order, Rivers was not to be released from the jail after 4 p.m. to ensure he could get fitted with the court-ordered GPS monitor company Tracking Solutions, which closed at that time. So they closed at 4, right? Just keep that in mind. Wednesday, May 15, 2024, a hearing is held where Rivers and his mommy, who does this son remind you of? Brian Laundrie? I mean, not that he ever, that didn't get to come in and help him get out on bond, but asked for the conditions of his bond to be changed so he could live in Mississippi instead of Davis County. The judge denied this request. Tuesday, June 4th, 2024, Rivers assigned probation officer sent a copy of the judge's order to Tracking Solutions. She requested they email the district attorney's office to retrieve the appropriate addresses for exclusion zones. So this is zoning in on where this ankle monitor needs to be. And if it goes outside of that, there is a process to alert. There's also a process when someone gets out of jail that the victim should be automatically called. It can be text messages, it can be voicemail, it can be emails, and it can be all 3. And you get them in a sequence. I've gotten them for other people. And I know that at least in Indiana, when you sign, but you have to sign up for it. I don't know anything about Ohio. I think that all victims should know. They didn't know right away. So that's a failure in it of itself. So where do we leave off? Monday, June 24th, 2024. Records show Rivers was let out of jail on Monday, June 24th at 4:05. A Brooks bail bonding agent signed his release form, which shows Rivers was not to leave Davidson County. Although the judge ordered Rivers to get his ankle monitor from Tracking Solution, the bail agent took him to a different company, Freedom Monitoring Services, because Tracking Solutions was closed. Funny that. A court report from Freedom Monitoring says when Rivers was brought in, the bond order was not available. So that's crazy. They apparently took Rivers' word that he was allowed to return to Mississippi and did not set the GPS tracking perimeter to Davis County. Friday, June 28th, 2024. It wasn't until the following Friday that Freedom Monitoring received the bond paperwork around 5 p.m. The company also received a no communication alert, and contacted Rivers, ordering him to return to Nashville immediately to be fitted with a new monitor. On the same day, Rivers' probation officer reached out to Tracking Solutions, which informed her Rivers had never reported to them. Oh, June 28th. What was the state? How long has he just been MIA? Okay. On the same day, the district's attorney's office called Johansen's dad to alert him Rivers had not reported for an ankle monitor and had not been heard from. A message he didn't hear until Monday. The message said, "This is Bailey calling from the district attorney's office in Nashville. Bricen Rivers was released from custody. He was supposed to report straight to GPS company and be put on a GPS monitor, and he did not. And he was not to leave Davidson County, but as soon as he was released, he did not report to the GPS monitoring company, because he reported to another one because of the bail bondsman, and he has not been heard from. I want to make sure Lauren is safe." Saturday, June 29th, Rivers arrived back in Nashville Saturday around 4 p.m. and was fitted with a new GPS monitor. So he's in Nashville. He gets fitted with a new GPS monitor. Monday, July 1st, 2024, Freedom Monitoring says the Rivers monitor battery went down to 6%. They say that they called him at 10:09 p.m. telling him to charge it, which he did. So they were able to see this thing was obviously hooked up. It was being charged. Around midnight, Rivers called in to say he wouldn't be able to make it to court in Nashville the next day due to him not having a ride. On this day, Johansen's dad discovered the message the district attorney left on his phone Friday. He says he could no longer get in contact with her and that he received a text message that didn't seem like it came from her. Tuesday, July 2nd of 2024, early Tuesday morning, Johansen's dad received a notification that her Life 360 tracker, I can't tell you enough how awesome Life 360 is. And the way that it is solving cases, I just watched a whole trial where Life 360 was a large part of the evidence, had been turned off. Johansen's sister, who she lived with, said she wasn't home and the security camera at their front door was destroyed. Johansen's family reported her missing to the Hattiesburg Police Department. Freedom Monitoring says Rivers' battery started going down around 10 a.m. and he was not responding to messages throughout the day. They say they contacted Rivers' mother, who hadn't heard from him or seen him. Really? He's supposed to be on home detention at your house. You know that. Regardless of whether it was on there, he was charging it. And no one's upset about that. And I am. They should be held accountable. I get it. He's 23. But you spoke to a judge, Mom. Terrible. The court issued a warrant for Rivers for being in violation of court orders after learning he had been in Mississippi since June 24th and on a GPS monitor with the wrong company. Rivers' last location before the monitor died was on Beach Boulevard in Biloxi. Once the tracker was in at 0%, Freedom Monitoring alerted his probation officer and bonding company. July 2nd was also the day Lauren was killed, according to the Harris County Coroner's Office. Wednesday, July 3rd, 2024, Hattiesburg PD used OnStar to track Johansen's car. They had been asked to do this from the day that the dad reported her missing, just FYI. They located it on Wolf River it at Wolf River Cemetery in Harris County. HPD requests Harrison County Sheriff's Department to help in conducting a welfare check on that location. That's when a deputy finds the car and witnesses Rivers allegedly running from the vehicle into the woods. Johansen's body was found in her own car, wrapped in trash bags and sheets. A 6-hour manhunt ensued before law enforcement lures Rivers out of the woods and takes him into custody. He was taken to the Harrison County Adult Detention Center and issued a $1 million bond. This article asks some really good questions. Why was Rivers released after 4? When his bond order said it wasn't allowed. If Rivers' bond company knew the conditions of his bond, why was that not communicated to the tracking company? Why did the bond company take him to a different tracking company instead of waiting until the next day for the court-ordered tracking company to open? Once the tracking company had Rivers' bond conditions, why was GPS perimeter not set to Davidson County? Why was the bond not higher than $250,000? Why was where was the communication between the two states? This is why when we get into talking about and the details of CJ, this is just listen to all of these things, okay? And like the potential for them to be the next story that we're reading and listening to on the news. Yeah, it's just really really disturbing case. And I'm about to show you some pictures. And her autopsy, she was just beaten to death. I mean, just literally he had a gun. A history of strangling her. Obviously, that escalated. But these photos are not for the faint of heart. I'm letting you know that now, in case you want to just kind of listen and not look. This is what these are the images that Nashville had of this girl, and remember her father begging them. He's going to kill her. And why do we have to be a justice system that only really gives a fork when someone dies? Especially when there is a history of it. And if Mississippi charges this mofo with anything except for, I think that state is first-degree murder, I'm going to lose my shit. I'm so sick of domestic offenders not being charged with first-degree murder. What more pattern of proof and evidence do you need than a criminal history of domestically almost killing victims? That's premeditated. If you know that, I don't care what excuse you use. And alcohol does lead to lowered inhibitions and can cause violent people, dangerous people, abusive people to be more abusive. But they're already that. That's who they are. The alcohol lowers their inhibitions, point blank, period. The excuses it's just crazy to me. My friend was murdered in 2009. Like, I can't, of course, that's just that from 2009 to 2024, just the indifference, the lack of education, the lack of proper training, the lack of forensic nurses that are available to each department, the lack of specific training for each department. I mean, some have really stepped it up. And states are, and literally, Ohio is now. So I think it is in all, at least in 49 states, to make strangulation, which is, that word is all encompassing. If you can't, if someone is intentionally causing you to not be able to breathe, you're being strangled. And in all states, that is, if this is an intimate partner, it is a felony 4. And it's unbelievable that it's, for Ohio, it's a statewide warrant only on a felony 4. Huh? Were you hoping he shows up to court on the 17th? Really? This is why I'm concerned. Does anybody know where he is? Because doesn't seem the courts or the sheriff's department sure does. Indiana, even if they wanted to, Kokomo PD or whomever, they can't do a damn thing because the warrant is not, it has to be nationwide. It can't be a statewide warrant. They can't arrest him. They can't do anything. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen, and it is so dangerous. I hope her family does not leave her side, regardless of whether she wants them to or not. I hope that they do not leave her side until he is in custody, and they damn sure better not knock it down from a felony 4 to a misdemeanor. This chick is going to end up a next case that we're covering. I'm telling you guys. Jeez. Telling you. Hey, Grandma Sherry. Hey, Alan the Prowl. Good to see you. Oh, thank you so much, Professor Pug. I really appreciate you. And I appreciate that you've been a member for 26 months. Wow. Over the 2-year mark. A lot has happened in the last few years. Love you, Mel. Yeah. Right back at you. It's sure is. Hey, M. Dave. Good to see you. I didn't have you blocked, Big Fish. But welcome. I put slow mode on because it's 10 seconds. That way, you know, the like bot, or I don't even know if they're just bot, but like if you see it in, sometimes I've seen it in the Raging Tomato where someone will put like a letter and they'll kind of go down like this, you know. The 10 seconds allows them not to be able to do that, or to say some, or to like, you know, be able to just spam like that. I found for me, it's been very helpful. It's just like, I think 10 seconds is like the least you can do, but it keeps those from end up spelling words that are horrible and wretched. And if I miss you, I'm sorry. It's not intentional. I'm just really trying to get through all of this in somewhat of a timely fashion because it's a lot. It's like a lot. I don't know. I don't know, hippie. I really don't. It's a upside down backwards world we're living in right now, seems. And I in no way am condoning what Noe, the prof, I'm trying to think of other people, like doxing and like putting people's address and like there are certain lines that you just don't, contacting family members, things like that. Like if a family member reaches out to you, that is completely different. And you should proceed with caution. And but don't reach out to people. Don't reach out to people's people. Come on. And this, look what they did to me. So now I have a right to do it right back. It's so gross. And the Delphi sphere, which is nuts, because it should be a community, is just buck wild right now. And I don't even know. I don't, just when you think it can't get any more depraved, because, well, I mean, it's already depraved. Two children are dead, and then this community just keeps piling it on. I can't. I don't understand. I just don't understand what's happening. And all right. Yes, I'm going to show that here in a second, True Sleuth, because that is one thing that when I saw that made me even more fearful for her. To be honest, it made me even more fearful. I'm not sure if I can present a folder on here. Really don't want to share. Window. No. And I was going to make like a slideshow so that this was more organized, and I just ran out of time. So you're just going to kind of have to bear with me. I want to show you the photos of what Bricen Rivers did to this poor girl. Just be prepared, okay? This is them. I was going to do this. And this looks so normal. I didn't know it was going to do that. This is her. It's a beautiful girl. This is him after his first arrest. That blood on his face isn't his, just FYI. This is his first mug shot. Well, it's probably more like his 7th mug shot, but this is the one in Nashville. This is her face. This is her face. Like, seriously. This is attempted murder. I don't know what else it could be. She's not even recognizable. It's her leg. It's just crazy that there was this time to intervene, because this was so heinous and so serious. And it still didn't work. This is his mugshot after the murder. So there's that. So that's Lauren Johannson. I have a friend with the last name Johansen, so it's like, but I'm not seeing that in there, so it's hard for me to say it right. I'm so sorry. I mean, no disrespect. And now we're going to read an article on Jennifer Underhill. Okay. So that's what he wanted. That's what he wanted to look at. He beat woman battered by himself. I don't understand people. And remember, they were on vacation in Nashville and he got mad at her because some guy was looking at her, or he thought she was looking at some guy. Why is there a gun? Why does this guy have a gun? I mean, this isn't his first charge. His first charges. Hey, Mother of Dragons. It's just a wowzers. It's real wowzers. There was one other thing that I wanted to read. This is from Fox 17. The commissioner recognized that this offender was at a high risk of killing her. That was excellent. The prosecutor knew he was at high risk of killing her. Our office knew he was at high risk of killing her, she said. She said all of the warning signs of his abuse were there, like strangling her, and said it's a telling sign that leads to murder. Then there was Rivers' criminal history. Just a little excerpt. This is an article where the clerk's office takes the blame for this, but I'm like, probation officer failed. The monitor company failed. The bail bondsman's failed. The courts failed. The judge failed. The jail failed. The Mississippi, what town was that in? Harrison County failed. Surely to God, when her and yeah, it was on a month, like he didn't get it. He was probably on vacation, and then he can't find his daughter. His other daughter goes back home, and she finds this. I mean, she literally finds evidence that, like, hey, something's wrong. They're trying to get him to track OnStar. Takes him a day or two. So, like, there's failures everywhere. His mother failed. He's a failure. He is a dangerous person. I hope he never gets out. This will never stop. Like, so the failure is so widespread on this one. And that's my concern because of the lackadaisical approach that they are taking towards CJ and his wife. And the lackadaisical approach that many counties, especially Carroll County, Indiana, takes with Anthony Greeno. It is sick. Do better. Just freaking do better. And this isn't a call for us to do, of course we need to do better. And doing better does not mean we go and like dox everybody and follow them around. That's literally like, but then again, if the police aren't going to do it, I can't tell what we did, but like, I don't know. And then to think that these two are in contact with each other. Now, Greeno, he's been on the run. CJ, I mean, who knows what he's going to do? Is he going to show up or not? Like, he fled the first time. There's your sign, Ohio. He literally fled. Did you call 911? He took off. We'll see if he shows up. He did hire a lawyer. So this is like the craziest thing to me. I'm sorry. I'm going to stop. I'm just going to read. Jennifer Underhill, 42. This was in July 23rd of 2018, Romeoville, Will County, Illinois. Three people have been charged in Jennifer Underhill's murder. Jennifer was found murdered outside of a Romeoville warehouse July 25th of 2018, lying in the grass on the 1800 block of Normantown Road. The report stated that Romeoville police were responding to reports of a semi-truck down with broken windows about 1:30 a.m. The owner of the trucks reported the damage was a result of a domestic dispute. Officers searched the area, located Jennifer's body. Jennifer was allegedly dating Hooper's brother. That part was like, I don't feel like we lost like a whole paragraph or something. So I'm not super sure. Is listed as a disabled adult. Parker was his guardian in 2011. Hooper's records include 2 prior domestic battery charges in 2008. Both charges were dropped. So were all of CJ's before this one. The same year included orders of protection against him. Many of Greeno's. Just with the extensive criminal history that guy has, which, I mean, I'm not going to throw out a percentage like I know, but I'm going to take a gander and I'll try to be, tempered in it. 70% of what these mofos do, the police don't ever know about. So just think about that with and keep Greeno in mind. Like with how many times he has been, because intimidation is definitely domestic violence, and criminal confinement, domestic battery, threat with a knife, the list just goes on and on and on. And it goes on from partner to partner because Greeno is the common denominator in them, and as will CJ. But I hope for his wife's sakes, she doesn't become another homicide victim, another statistic. For Greeno's girlfriend's sake, please don't think that you can change these guys. Please don't believe when they come to you begging and crying and lighting candles and laying out rose petals and going to church and talking about Jesus. And I've changed. What do you think you're perpetuating in this community when you keep giving this mofo a second chance? I've changed. How is that any different from what happens to these women or men? Jennifer was found murdered outside of the Romeo warehouse. Oh, I read that part. Stated that Romeo police were responding to report. No, I read that. Jennifer was allegedly dating. I read that too. Well, that's weird. So pretty. I love her glasses. George L. Hooper, 34, of the 2100 block or 21,000 block of West Joyce Court, has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, felon possession, use of a firearm on parole. This dude's out on parole. And 2 counts of unlawful use of a weapon by a felon. Hooper is being held on a $5 million bond. Rose M. Parker, 57, of the same address, is charged with 2 counts of obstructing justice. Amanda Weck, 33, was charged in Jennifer's murder with reckless discharge of a firearm. She too lives at the same address. Her bond is set at $100,000. Parker allegedly drove a weapon to Madison County and lied to police and knowingly gave them wrong contact information to Hooper. Parker was allegedly a witness to Jennifer's murder. This sounds a little similar to Garrett Kurtz and company, who killed Nicole Bowen and Ray Hainish. Sounds similar to both. Weck allegedly discharged a firearm in the air while standing next to Hooper. according to the court documents, and that the gun discharge endangered the bodily safety of a 32-year-old man also living at the same residence. Jeez. The autopsy revealed that Jennifer died of multiple blunt force trauma caused by an assault. I thought there was a... Oh, sorry. And obviously, that article was super weird. I could have swore that wasn't even the one I read. It had a lot of good pictures, but the one I read is that... I guess I saved the wrong one. So hold on, let me find it. Give me just a second. Give me just a second here. Okay, sorry. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of coverage on this case. I'll have to check newspapers.com, but I found one where it goes into his, the one that I had read first, but I read it on my phone, so it was showing up on my computer. Okay, alleged killer had a long criminal history in DuPage County. Seriously? Well, I'm not going to buy anything else, so I guess we're not going to get to read that one. Well, you saw that, like, the poster, the reason that I started doing this was a YouTube commenter. She's in, I've never seen her in my chats, but I do see her in a lot of other people's chats. The comment from her about her friend. So, what's going on in the chat? I don't know. It's a good question. I don't block anybody here, especially if they're talking to me. Like, don't block them. Like, don't block anybody. Actually, you can time people out, but like, don't block people for me, mods. Liggett let Greeno off on good behavior after he received a violation of stalking and death threat while in jail. Good behavior, my ass. Liggett has a lot of explaining to do. Yeah. Yeah. I know. Same one, Johnny, I think. Yeah, it's Cindy, are you using someone's dead mother's profile picture? You're being accused of that, and if you are, it's literally despicable. I just saw that today because there's this person that I don't know what she thinks I am, some kind of like lady hero, or I got like a cape on or something, but she's all mad at me because I didn't do enough for her, because she and Thomas Frost were both like whatever, but she sent me an incessant amount of emails, and I just had enough of that. Like, I did what she asked me to do. I'm not going to get involved in, like, I don't know. Like, if you prove that to a court. There's nothing I can do about it. Like, I don't know what I do hair. Like, I don't know what this person wants of me, but obviously I failed her so bad. So she's all mad, but I did see where someone she is saying that someone is using her dead mother, and that name is it, and that picture is it, because I just saw it today. So you're about to get banned unless you want to confirm that that's not a lady's dead mother. This lady, she's involved with the Flora case. Like, she knew Kiera, Kione, and Kiana, Kione, and the fourth one. I'm so sorry. I even like spent so much time memorizing the Flora Four girl's name. But she reached out to me, from that, and like she gave me a bunch of pictures, just wanted me to make a video, and I was like, okay, like I had wanted to, and I don't want to cover that case for personal reasons, but we are going to be talking about Carrie L. Thank you, Tree Monster. We're going to be talking about what this community they better follow through. They better follow through with it. And we're about to get to all that here in a second. I'm sick of it. If you were in that chat, if you were on that stream, you have an obligation to get Galen to Jamaica. Like, letting this fool, CJ, who has acted bonkers before even announcing that, and people are all like, let's not talk about, because I'm getting ahead of myself, because the whole big freaking suicide thing. If that was true, I guarantee you it was a hysterics like what Brian Laundrie did to Gabby Petito. And if it's not true, good God. But it was 10 days. That was not the same day that he strangled her. There was about at least at least a week in between him coming on to YouTube, creators' lives, multiple of them, saying that, oh, this is what happens when the true crime community goes real life. Like, my wife tried to kill herself. He had no feeling whatsoever. It was like super weird. And then when he was asked if he'd let her family know, he was like, no, I haven't been able to get a hold of them. Why, you little mother forker? Maybe because you've been live for the last 4 hours. So who knows if that's even true, but it's been used as like, oh, don't no. People do need to be careful. However, you are not responsible. Like, the person responsible for their life is them. And he should have never drug that. If that happened to her, he should have never brought that to YouTube. I don't care what anybody else did to him. I don't care who called if that happened. That's so disrespectful and so gross. And not one person called him out on that. Not one person. Like, I guess it's to be expected, considering the vile things that Greeno says. Well, people just chat along in his chat, just like, oh, he just didn't just say that. Like, come on. Like, he's not talking about, literally, like, I can't. I'm not even going to be able to show you guys it because it's so vile. But I found this one more article. So it's not working either. Crap. Okay, well, I'll look into that case more. And like I said, there's just not a lot to find. Hopefully newspapers is a little bit more, a little bit more information if I can dig into the murder of Jennifer Underhill. Hey, Frank. Okay, so I guess I'm just going to have to keep opening that folder like that. But I'm getting ready to, we're going to look at the court documents we're going to listen to a free pre-strangulation clips of, so we're getting ready to do that. So this is the part that's the true crime community here, so just remember those cases that we just talked about, especially the first one, considering the second one, I'm not going to pay for a subscription, but it's probably because I read it on my freaking phone that it's not letting me read it again. Lauren Johannson. Okay. Like, I don't need any more of her. And I don't want this community. This community can step up and raise awareness. And if they know where he is, they better be calling somebody. I don't even know who. Call Ohio, like call the judge. I'm about to tell you the judge's name. Call the forking judge. This is ridiculous. Okay. I might need a second. I really need to pee. We'll just play a little video of mine because I don't know how to do anything really cool, like making little videos, but yeah. Let's go ahead and show my. No, you're going to be able to hear.
Welch, age 5. They are the Flora focus. We say the Flora 4, the Flora fire, and occasionally we hear their names or say their Kiana Latrice Davis, age 11. Kiara Janelle Phillips, age 9. Carrielle Danielle McDonald, age 7. Hyone Precious Welch, age 5. They are the Flora focus. We say the Flora 4, the Flora fire, and occasionally we hear their names or say their names. I am guilty. There has not been much coverage that solely focuses on their life. There never is. Why? Because people do not care. They care about every salacious detail, and the wilder the better. Throw in corruption, conspiracies, cover-ups, and blaming everyone and their brother, and now you have something people pay attention to. The life and the life that they will never get to have is a footnote. Who they are, who loves them, and misses them every day is lost in the chaos of seeking justice. But what does that even mean? I don't know. But I do know they absolutely deserve to be alive today. But they're not. And the person who killed them has not been held accountable. They need to be held accountable. These 4 girls are owed that. Law enforcement has told us very little, as they should. We do know that on November 21st, 2016, someone intentionally set a fire that killed 4 children in Flora, Indiana. Their names are Kiana, Kiera, Carrielle, and Kyone. Say their names, type their names, share their names. Focus on them. Please open the description of this video and click on the links to hear straight from Galen Rose, the mother of Kiana, Kiara, Carrielle, and Kyone. All she has left is memories, her pictures and videos, a memorial bench, and gravestones. It's unimaginable. Please get to know Galen and her beautiful girls who are the focus this week and always. If you have any information, please contact authorities at 1-800-382-4628 or write to P.O. Box 80132, Indianapolis, Indiana 46280. Remember, you do not have to give your name.
Wasn't quite quick enough. what Mel's algorithm is. I'm sure he did. Guess he's not in it because his channel's gone again. Should have played that video. Thank you, Rescue All the Dogs. Yes. Kiana, Kiara, Cariel, and Kyone. Yeah. Thank you guys for putting their names in here. Yeah, Crime Creek. True crime. To warn others how great it would be if a life was saved because of a true crime creator instead of like covering it after the fact. Like, I feel like that would be great. What is share window? I don't know. All right. Oh, well, that's cooler. That's better if it would just like stay that way. But it doesn't. Okay. Everybody here okay?
Sweetheart, and she does not know how to deal with this. And one of those three individuals, called her apartment leasing office today and turned her in for having too many dogs and having me at her apartment. So my wife tried to commit suicide tonight.
Whoa.
So she's in the hospital right now. And
holy shit. CJ, are you guys okay?
She's fine.
Okay.
I was able to stop it. She's getting care. But this is why.
Does her family know? Everybody going out to see her?
Well, I haven't been able to get a hold of anybody yet, so I obviously I didn't want to put her on blast, and
Oh, really? You
it's obviously a
didn't?
personal situation. However, I wanted people to know that there is a line, and when you cross it, this is the worst case scenario, and it's not right. And I won't get an apology. There will be no acknowledgement from these individuals that they did this. They will celebrate it more than likely. And I just hope that everybody understands how sick these people are.
And listen here. If you called and so he says that I don't even think that he named three people. So I'm assuming he doesn't know. If it's even true. But if you did do that and you called her apartment like manager and said, he's living there and two dogs, fork you. Like that is true. However, this is also fork you, CJ. Both can be equally disgusting at the same time, people. Stop calling people's jobs and works and like it's just so out of control. And so is this. Everybody trying to get people to control people with suicide and mental health? No. You don't get to do that either. You don't get to weaponize that against other people. That is equally as wrong as it is to do all of those weird things. And I'm telling you, Cindy, if I find out that picture actually is the obituary picture of her dead mother, I don't care if I don't want anything to do with that chick. I don't want her to contact me anymore. I'm done with that. But if I find out that that is her dead mother, I will be blasting you on a special Just For You live at how disgusting that is to do. I don't care how horrible, how much that girl has done, because I know she's done a lot. She's done a lot to me. A lot's been done to her too. But that is too far. That's disgusting. It better not be. That's when this community is just buck wild. Like, I can't. Here's the cars. So this one is, listen to this, because when we get into the police report, this comes up, okay?
Calling someone's job, messing with someone's spouse. That's why it's a red line. And that's why I went back as hard as I did at these people. And, well, I hope they're happy. I hope they got what they wanted.
Please send Jenna our love. Tell her to give us a call.
Yeah, so give her lots of love. Give her lots of love, CJ. Please.
Give her lots of love. Nope, hasn't been doing that.
And I think
he hasn't been doing that for a while. He hasn't been doing that for a while. Like a long ass time. If ever.
Charger, so I don't know when I'll be hearing from her.
Are you gonna go head out to the hospital?
Well, the one car that's here, she's got the key for that one, and the other car isn't parked here because, well, then the leasing office would have known I was here. So I don't have a way to get there. And
I don't have a way to get there. And
the nature of what happened, I don't know when she's going to be allowed.
But you know what a normal spouse doesn't do? Like, because, like, if it's like a 72 hour, obviously he's not going to be able to go there. But you know what they don't do? They don't go on a live for hours and just get drunk. Like, that is just so, even if it did happen, don't even know if it actually did happen. He brought it here, though. Remember that. He brought it here. Those people could have done what they did, and he could have stopped it right there. But he didn't. He did it right back. This is what happened. He didn't need to do that to his wife. He didn't need to tell anyone that. He should have, like, does it make what whomever, if that did happen, call right? Absolutely not. Two wrongs don't make a right, people. I know that seems to be a foreign concept for this community. But it really is true. This is like scary as hell.
Greeno has sat here with my wife and showed me some videos that were really neat.
Ah.
Showed me some videos that here with my wife and showed me some videos that were really neat.
So I'm assuming, he misspoke a little bit there. We'll give him that wasn't in person. So this is a court just like overview, okay? So this was opened on July 5th of 2024. And if you notice, I don't know if you could notice, but the date of the videos where he was saying that about her trying to kill herself was on, that was like 10 days prior to, so there's like some time. This is not the same incident. Whatever happened there, we don't know. I mean, I'm sure some people know, but it's none of, no one should be looking into that. Please stop that behavior. And you wonder, and then you have the right to be indignant when people do it to you. It's so stupid. No. So this is a criminal. It's strangulation. This is it's in Tip City, Ohio. So it's Huber Heights Police Department. And strangulation is it is listed as a felony 4. Felony, okay? And in Indiana, we have a felony 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So, kind of right in the middle of felonies as far as like seriousness. And so these are what image here is what I'm going to be opening. But I'm not going to do it on the website because then it's going to show names that don't need to be on YouTube. But the warrant or complaint was on July 5th of 2024 for Casey Conwell, aka CJ from Case Closed with CJ. The judge in this case is Judge Huffman. So, just a few things of note, just for accuracy, just to show you those things. So here we go with the criminal complaint. This is just kind of like the spreader sheet, like the header sheet or whatever you call that. Oh, I'm forgetting the name of it. So it's Casey Conwell. He's 5'10", 150 pounds. Tip City, Ohio. Brown hair, brown eyes. On the 5th day of July, 2024. No person shall knowingly do any of the following: cause or create a substantial risk of physical harm to another by means of strangulation or suffocation. And remember, for yourself and anyone that you know that might be in this situation, just ask them or ask yourself, if someone choked you and you did not consent, which you should not consent to that. You know how dangerous that is? Like the carotid artery is like so close. You know how you could pass out within 10 seconds. Like it is, I don't know. I don't consent to that. But if someone does this to you, just know that even if this can cause brain damage, seizures, death, a litany of problems, and a lot of times it doesn't show. There isn't an outward sign of it, like it's just nothing to be messing around with. And that's why like there was a big push for states to make it a felony. So to wit, Casey Conwell, while it's the address, knowingly shoved his wife onto a bed during a verbal altercation and placed his hands around her neck. Casey pressed both thumbs restricting her airway until she was able to shove him away. Thank God for that. But please know that this is not going to be the last time. You are worth so much more than this. And if he is making you feel guilty for the other situation, fork him. You can feel bad about that and let him be in your rear view mirror. Okay? Like, it's not right. I'm not condoning, like having an affairs. Affairs are always on the person that had them. But like holding it over you or using your faith against you and how you're supposed to forgive 70 times 7. No. You can forgive and then you can just forget them and leave them in your past, because you cannot stay with someone like this. It is not going to get any better. It is not. It's just not. Okay, there's too long of a pattern here. So scary. Yeah, True Sleuth. Is it still gone, his channel? No, Cindy Lee, like, yeah, but where has Cindy Leanne been? But no, she would never do anything like that. But has anybody heard, like, seen her or heard from her lately? Greeno's channel is back. Of course. I mean, we knew that wasn't going to last. He does this all the time. But guess what, Greeno? I got your video recorded where you said to fuck, Delphi and the case and everybody else, just like you've done several times throughout since 2017. Okay, this is really hard to see. And I did not get these documents. They were sent to me. And the person that sent them to me said someone sent it, that they were out there and that someone had sent them to them. So I don't know. But if I did know, I would give you credit. Okay. I would like to have all of the whole thing, but I paid for 3 different cases right now. I'm not paying for another one, so this is just fine for me. Officer narrative. So this is an officer's narrative. Huh. Look at that. Officer narrative. Crazy. On July 5th, 2024, Officer Champ and I responded to, and it's the address, in reference to a domestic violence complaint. Dispatch advised that the suspect, later identified as Casey Conwell, fled the scene after learning the complainant was calling 911. It was reported that Casey fled in a black car bearing Ohio registration towards Brant Pike. While en route, I did not locate this until I observed it located in the driveway. So, wasn't her car. Did you guys hear that? That was weird. This information was put out to dispatch in an attempt to locate Casey. So, oh wait, I missed the whole part. Casey must have taken this second vehicle, a black Toyota Corolla bearing Ohio registration GOY7208. Black Toyota Corolla. The information was put out to dispatch in an attempt to locate Casey. The interview with the wife. While speaking to her, I observed her to be highly emotional and stopping periodically to stop crying. Please remember the Gabby Petito video that everybody's seen, okay? Also had red agitated skin around her neck. She advised that Casey is her husband. They have been going through marital issues for a while. Casey had been drinking heavily while celebrating Independence Day, and this has persisted throughout the night. And Casey began and ended verbal altercations after she arrived home last night from celebrating with her family. It wasn't with her, he was probably online with somebody. These verbal altercations peaked when Casey shoved her onto their bed within the residence, got on top of her, straddling and wrapped both hands around her throat. Casey then leaned onto her, pressing both of his thumbs into the center of her throat. She did not lose consciousness, but was able to buck Casey off her when she began to panic and fear for her life. She immediately began calling 911, and Casey fled in the Toyota Corolla when he learned she was calling 911. She advised that her relationship had many domestic violence incidents and only a handful had been reported. She explained that the frequency and intensity of the incidents are increasing. Red flag, huge red flag. She stated that her and Casey share locations on their cellular devices. I observed Casey's location traveling west on, I think that's Interstate 70, almost to Brookville. She explained that the only location Casey could be traveling to in that direction is his father's, Mr. Conwell, who resides at Kokomo, Indiana. All of this information was relayed to dispatch and was put out as a BOLO to OSP and Indiana jurisdictions. The information that Casey also owns a firearm was put out as well, since she could not locate the firearm within the residence after Casey left. That's scary. I took photographs of her neck area that I observed to have reddened skin. I also provided her with a written statement to fill out. I completed the Miami County Sheriff's Office domestic violence packet. She advised that she would complete the statement and call for this to be acquired when she had calmed down. I responded to dispatch and completed a temporary warrant due to Casey still not having been located at this time. A CCH was completed on Casey Conwell. This CCH displayed that a federal order of protection was issued on Casey Conwell, with her listed as the protected person due to a previous domestic violence incident. Interesting. This was found to be not valid as Casey was no longer an active military service member. So a federal order of protection isn't valid just because you're not active in the military? That I don't know. Someone in the military explained that one to me. The CCH also indicated that Casey had been charged previously 5 times for domestic violence, one being aggravated. All charges had dispositions of no action taken. No action taken. This case is pending further investigation. I don't think there was really anything on this one. The victim emotional, crying, agitated, stated injuries and or signs of physical abuse. So there's stated injuries, and then there were signs of physical abuse, strangulation, bruises, and cuts. Okay? Like, this is the officer's narrative. So there is a protection order, obviously there's an old one that, I guess goes away if you are not active in the military. So weird. Or equivalent local or, yeah. So I think this was just kind of, they put all of this in the narrative. So this is like the report form that they fill out. Casey has been charged a total of 6 times, including this incident, and each of the 5 previous charges were disposed with no action taken as documented on Casey's CCH. She advised that only the incidences where she fears for her life are reported, and that a large portion of the domestic violence incidents are not reported, but they are increasing in frequency and intensity. So this is the offense here. Felony in the 4th degree, because it's they're in the same home, so that's why it's a 4th degree felony in the state of Ohio. Alcohol is involved, and asphyxiation by drowning, strangulation, or suffocation. This is very, very concerning right here. It obviously has a date up here. However, but it says Miami County. So I don't know if this is the old one. So it's just like a part of the record, as in like there is possibly a new one, or if this is the one that they tried to get right now. But this is what is concerning about this here. This says refuse. So if you want this petition, this protective order, this motion for temporary protection order against Casey Conwell, CJ, then, you know, you would sign here. But the officer has to, like, they have to do this. So, but you can refuse to sign the temporary protection order. And, she did sign. That was, her, signature is, you could read it, and that's where she signed. So, this is pretty standard procedure. It takes, obviously, well, like, that's why it was important for me to cover the case prior of Lauren, because, and I have tons of links and clips and things on professionals saying the same thing. Okay, I'm not just like talking out of my ass. Sometimes when police do get involved, though, like, the person, even though they may refuse to sign, it will be the courts will do it for them. They won't have a choice if it's violent enough. So I'm assuming a felony would be enough for them, even if she did refuse to sign, to put a order of protection in place. So this is just this is just the domestic violence, like, incident report, and like a order referral to victim witness assistant program. This is just acknowledging that you got the form. So CJ got a lawyer, Patrick Mulligan, and he is in Ohio. So now comes Patrick Mulligan and Associates, attorney at law, and makes their notice of appearance in the above captioned matter. Memorandum in support. May it please the court, On July 5th of 2024, the defendant, Casey Conwell, was issued a warrant in the above captioned cause. Undersigned counsel has now been retained to help Mr. Conwell in this matter. Undersigned counsel respectfully requests that the warrant issued in the above caption case be recalled and an arraignment date to be set. As Mr. Conwell has retained undersigned counsel and assures the court he will make every effort to resolve this case. So, recall the statewide warrant. Hopefully it's been changed to nationwide warrant. But make him come to an arraignment. Yeah, just another similar. But as we saw here, the judge said, no, sir. That's not going to happen. These are 2 orders from the judge for the witnesses to appear. I'm assuming he is to appear too, even though there's not a subpoena in this case record. At least I don't have it for him to appear. It's just kind of weird. Just a few bolos. In case you see them. What a disgrace. You know how much he bragged about. Whenever I see that, I'm like, they really didn't do anything. Like when you're using your service to like, he kept trying to identify with Richard Allen. Huh. Interesting. Okay, so this comes out. I think it was Noe, and I'm like I said, that is the kind of behavior I'm talking about. Like, no, the going live part is completely unnecessary. The like putting out the address, those types of behaviors are wrong. Okay. There's a way to cover things. There's a way to do things. And we can only stay within the confines of we can't go breaking laws to save someone's life. So like you have to do things the right way. Sometimes that really sucks. And sometimes people end up dead. So this is I don't know. Somebody needs to explain it to me because I'm not going to shut up about it. And I don't know that I'm going to care what the explanation is. But Mark Cohen, who is a name that is not doxing because it was in the court cases for Richard Allen as being one of the identified disseminators of the crime scene photos of Abigail Williams and Liberty German, is now really revered in the true crime community. And apparently he's been friends with some people for a really long time, including Frost. And he's just going on all these channels and he's just out. And so is the other one, Kyra de Bruin, who's also named in there because Fortson's dead, so there's that. And Westerman has been charged with at least a little something, but then these two is what the investigation said, So I'm not going to trust their word. I'm going to go with the court documents until proven otherwise, okay? But I find it just so ridiculous that this guy is now people are just like, oh my gosh, like, yay, him. I don't get it. I do not get it. So here's this.
Talk about it or comment about it just because out of respect for the people involved, and it's a private matter that I don't think us saying anything will do any good. And we have trying to think how to put this. Just basically, it's not our place, and so therefore, we're not going to. And I encourage all of you that are talking about it to think about the people involved and think about how they're affected by everybody talking about it, and let's give them the privacy that they deserve, and just wait. Just wait.
Such bullshit.
I think talking about it would do more harm than good. So that's what I'm going to say about that. So
can you guys hear this?
Who is going to raise the... We can work on that, Marge. I think I knew that. We can work on that. I see the thing I was trying...
Yeah, so what they're talking about there was Marge asked us, who's going to raise the money for Galen to go to Jamaica like CJ promised her? You guys allowed him on your shows. They were Slim You casting on Curious Contrarian and Fire and Ice. Anyone that is a creator that was a part of that and that was there when CJ made that promise, you need to follow through with sending her to Jamaica. She's been through a fucking enough. Like, she's been through enough. He promised that. Obviously, he's not going to see it through. But you are responsible for his promise now, in my opinion. And I hope that there's a bunch of people that feel the same way, and they continuously keep asking you guys until you do it. I'm sure that Kristen behind the crime door would set that up, and that you guys could follow through with that. Kristen, she's done amazing coverage. She just had Galen on. She was not anywhere in any of these channels during this promise from CJ or at all that I saw. I'm just saying she's someone that I would trust with a fundraiser to get Galen to Jamaica. Like, it really pisses me off that just be like, oh, well, yeah, he's not going to be able to do that. Like, he did all of this stuff, so you're not going to, like, it's not going to be a thing. No. No. It's a thing. It's a thing. Here's why. Here's why it's a thing.
We're going to talk about how we're going to, start this Jamaica trip thing, and then, onwards from there. And it's just going to keep, you're going to just keep seeing the love, because, people have wanted to see you and wanted.
There's another time.
As soon as you wake up, we're going to get going on this Jamaica thing. I promise you, okay?
I'm going to cry.
Hear that?
When you wake up, we're going to get going on this Jamaica thing, I promise you.
As soon as you wake up.
As soon as you wake up, we're going to get going on this Jamaica thing, I promise you, okay?
I'm going to cry because I appreciate it.
Well, you're going to cry on a beach because it's it, okay?
Yeah.
So, Frost, the real dragon, aka Redfoot, Curious Contrarian, Alex, Ruckus, saw you up there. There's a bunch of people. You better make it happen. You owe it to this kind lady. You allowed someone like him. It's not like we didn't see it coming. He's been a nightmare. He's been saying wretched, horrible things since he came into the community. You allowed him to come in here and do this kind of stuff. So you're responsible to make this freaking happen. It's disgusting that it's not already happening. That's disgusting to me. That anyone would do that to her, especially after she came on here, because she's been going through fucking hell with Meow and what she's been pulling. She's been going through fucking hell because her 4 little girls are murdered. And she's not been treated well by anyone. Hardly ever. There's been like 2 women. 3. Maybe 4 or 5 people. Coach Kev, he's done amazing coverage of this case as well. And Kristen behind the crime door. But like, really? And then you have her on here. This dude is allowed to come on up and promise this. Other people back up the promise. We're going to make it happen. And then because he ended up being like doing all of this, you're just like, well, sorry, Galen. Like, I hate to tell you this. Like, it hurts my heart to tell you that we're not going to do this anymore. Fuck that. That really pisses me off. So this is, I have the clip. I'll have to go to my YouTubes. I didn't get it, but of him promising a Jamaica trip. So we'll have to hang on for that. It's somewhere different. So he posts, be on the lookout for Grey Gooch. So clearly he's trying to like do something there with Grey Hughes, which, you know, it's like, are you kidding me? I don't get where they like compare Grey to the likes of like people like this. Like, it's just asinine. This Friday was July 5th, 2024. Just FYI. We will be making an appearance for the Galen Rose fundraiser. See you all there. So just to prove that him and Greeno, and I mean everybody's been seeing it, him and Greeno have just been fast friends. They have a podcast going. They've just been on a rampage of just nastiness. I mean, I don't know how people can like be like, whoa, like that was really racist. Like, whoa, that was really like really homophobic. Like, whoa, that was like all the phobics. It's even just that alone. Like, I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter how you feel about me or Bern or any. We don't give a flying fork. But like, when you see it, like when you see this kind of behavior, when you hear it, like, why? How are you able to just be like, oh my gosh, but he makes great videos and he's doing a Delphi documentary? What? Oh, it's bonanza. Oh, this is just a little fun thing I found. You know, he saw what's going on and, you know, going on about his big heart thing. Maybe he went to a heart doctor after this, but my daughter takes propanol. And I'll tell you what, there's one thing that I just really don't like is people using their children's medical stuff to garner sympathy. Mark Cohen. Could anyone possibly tell me what this dip in an EKG is? So this is like, if this is what it is, like this is literally, this is nothing. Like I've seen, my daughter's had ECGs for multiple a year for many, many years. Like I taught myself how to read them a long time ago. This is like a, trying to remember what they call it. I don't like it. It's just motion, basically. This is a nothing burger at all. Other than that, like a pretty regular heartbeat, even though it's like a watch. Like, so someone said this artifact. That's the name of it. Movement. Nothing that your heart is doing. It's just some movement that got picked up. Apple Watch EKGs are next to impossible to get a full clean reading where it's done using the finger, and then like the next comment is like, yeah, like go to a cardiologist. Like what? But propanolol is a medicine that my daughter has taken. I'm pretty sure that's the one that he was mentioned. Like, you could take propanolol for multiple different things, and like, depending on the dosage and the, like, it's not one that's, so I don't know. It's just fishy. It does. I'll tell you what it's not gonna do. So is like what he was claiming he needed it for. Okay, like it's not like because he's just making it moot with all of the excessive drinking. Like if you have that type of a irregular or atrial or any kind of fibrillation. Alcohol is the main absolute no-no. Why? Well, duh, but it also thins your blood. And like it's just an absolute no-no. So it was just like such a weird thing. He was doing that with the Richard Allen thing all the time. All right, I think. Oh, I meant to play this one first, but I forgot.
Make a podcast on anything, you make a video about anything, no matter what you do, people know you're gonna hate, but they still watch it. Everything. Yep. You got a girlfriend, she fucking, this actually hates me, so blah, blah, blah.
Why is it not opening it? Oh, well, we don't need to. We just need to listen to it.
Yeah, bro. Just, we were talking about the other night, who's the one, you don't have to say the name, but the one that always, every content video, everything's about you.
Me.
Yeah, that one, I'm like, and they put your name in there, I'm like, yeah. I mean, if you didn't like somebody, you would just say, are you some asshole? Like, not fucking true crime investigate to put your name on there. Like, no, they're making money off of you. They get super chest. Burn after reading, all those guys.
You know what her story is? She had a friend that had a boyfriend that looked a lot like me and talked a lot like me. And that dude killed her. And because I look like and act like him, I'm gonna kill someone. Literally, and she's just protecting everybody. She's just telling everybody.
Here's a funny comment here. So Mark said criminality hated him, and then they spoke directly, and now they're on great terms. You would be surprised how much that happens in this community, right? Like, that's what happened in Reno. It's exactly what Mark is
honestly,
saying. And the only reason that I know who Mark is because...
Interesting. Could care less. You know what, Dan? I do have a very long playlist. I've actually put them into a playlist to make them easy for people to find. Yeah, and there is a shit ton of them. And there will continue to be more because Anthony Greeno of True Crime Investigates, third person and otherwise, aka True Crime News, aka Greeno Radio, aka Southern Bound. I mean, the list goes on and on. He's got a new Facebook that popped up today. Like, yeah, he is a menace to this community and society, and I will keep covering him as long as he is covering true crime. Because he doesn't belong here, and if you can't see that, that's your problem and not mine. But what I also do is I have way more cases, cold cases that no one will even watch, which really pisses me off, but I keep doing them. I have covered way more cases with way less videos than Greeno would ever even, because he doesn't give a fuck, so he's not going to do it. So you can go if you don't want to watch all of those, because there's quite a lot, and they're on a podcast too, the first 3. So, but I did a look back. There's 3 episodes with about 6 hours worth of viewing for all of the cases that I've ever covered on my channel. And updates in all of those cases that I have covered on my channel. Thank you very much. Okay, am I done here? I'm going to go ahead and show this. Just so that I can leave here and then let's be done with it. Because, Greeno, he does have a warrant. I don't care what he tells you about what it is or the lackadaisicalness of Carroll County, but he does have a warrant. You can find it. But he's been completely unraveling. I mean, the threats of violence, the descriptive. I was going to, show you, Delphi After Dark's screen grabs that are on his community post for the stuff that Greeno sent to him. But, like, you can go over there and verify that I am reading you a cleaned up version of what Greeno sent here in a minute. But this says Metro Vancouver Transit Police. Okay? So, if this is newish, looks like there's a bus card. Great. Just because he's posing with the, like, doesn't mean anything, obviously. Like, come on. Like, he would, like, did they need to get his license? His registry didn't. It's not like he has a registration. So, like, unless they have a reason to enter his information into their database, they're not going to know anything about him. But I do know what pops up, because he's had this label for years. Like, he's a violent, like, offender. And, like, one other thing of, like, escape. So, yeah, like, that's the dumbest thing ever, to be like, well, I've been hanging out with the police, so obviously I don't have a warrant. Like, okay. Like, that's so asinine to think that as a viable reason why he doesn't have a warrant. I, like, can't. But he's been really, I'm not, like, gonna show it, and I'm gonna, like, try to, I don't even know. But I have a little screen recording of Greeno, CJ, and Noe. And Noe's going, asking Greeno, stuff about his daughter. And you better leave her alone, Noe. And you too, Laura. Everybody leave everybody's families alone. Like, it's so ridiculous. If they reach out to you, that's different. But don't be, like, going and, like, stalking people. It's like, but anyway, so Noe does all this stuff, and then that's wrong. Then Greeno goes, no, I didn't. I did it to yours, and, like, took her out back and effed her in the ass. Like, I don't like those words to come out of my mouth. That was his, like, response. And then they started laughing and making jokes on Curious Contrarians Live, who's also very peaceful. This was the most peaceful. This was so peaceful that they have this on there, but... And it goes on for a while, and they yell or screaming at each other and going, doing all these raping each other's daughters. Like, it's just sick. And then, someone jumps in with an Outback Steakhouse joke, and CJ's like, yeah, Angus beef. I mean, like, that people like this is, like, appropriate in any kind of fashion is disgusting. Here's what's interesting. Greeno's unraveling, and I guarantee you it's probably, like, Carly, his girlfriend left him again or something. But, like, he's going to make it, like, he's unraveling in this community, which is just literally, like, a part of the pattern, different year. He's done this exact same thing before. Remember the whole video where he tried to say that he broke in, like, someone was breaking into his house, which is just, like, laughable. I have a video on it if you would like to watch it and see what you think. If this is not Greeno, like, having a knife, like, trying to get in, like, sitting outside of someone's house, trying to, like, steal their power. Like, it's ridiculous that he was trying to pull off that was his house. And I'm betting that she probably broke up with him or something. He was acting all weird. Who knows, but definitely wasn't him having a house or anything of the such, but he did have a knife in his hand, and he was outside of that house. He was not inside of that house, porch or not. Like, the person didn't want him there. They were in the residence, and he was not, porch or not. But it's just funny to me that they had that little, deal between Noe and him, and he's saying all those things, and then now that he's unraveling, it's real convenient for him to start blaming other people, which is a part of his pattern too. And it pisses me off that he's targeting my friend in real life. Who's your cold cases with this bullshit? And not one of you has said a damn word about it. Not one person is defending him, regardless of like, people think that Richard Allen is innocent, guilty, or that we don't know, because no one should be in either camp. They're both wrong. No, this is unnecessary, and this is directly related to whatever Noe knows about Greeno, you know, and it's the sickening what he's doing to him. And whoever, if you know who you are, if you have anything to do with this, wow, like I can't can't even believe that would be a thing. But then again, I've seen you just, you know, Laura's just been hanging all out, you know, and going on the same lives where Greeno is. He's saying that they're, you know, they're friends and that she's cool and not like, unlike Crime Geek, but hopefully that's a lie and maybe like an indirect threat. Maybe the more than likely Greeno's the one that's threatening his family and his ex-girlfriends and whatnot, because that's what he does. It's usually whatever he says is usually what he does. He'll blame it on someone else, but it's actually his behavior. Because even when we're lying, it is instinctual to want to stick to something that we already know. It's just sick. This internet predator who has multiple catfish accounts be the bad actor in the Delphi murders. This is a man who lies and misleads the public away from the pedophile social media crimes against children. What? He attempt to exonerate bridge guy Richard Allen at all costs? How could Hoosier Cold Cases possibly do that? How can a citizen exonerate Richard Allen? Like, targets people. Oh, but you do that, shifts blame, you do that, and you're doing it right here, and never is honest. That's you, or accountable. You're never accountable. The law doesn't hold you accountable, and neither does the true crime community. You're the only one. They sure try to bring Hoosier Cold Cases accountable all the forking time. And people that are, you're just like, what? Like, how is this even relatable? Like, how? You've got this, like, outright, like, just deplorable, depraved behavior. And then you have, like, not. I don't get it. Like, this is just ridiculous. This is you, buddy. And he's literally making him... Because it's... This is the thing, too. Greeno's been, it's only Richard Allen. Like, if they don't get him, then we're going to, you know, hang him in the courtyard. At Greeno's hands. Like, whoever thought that it was okay to listen to that kind of garbage needs some help. But like this right here, it's just Richard Allen, right? So this is completely vindictive, disgusting behavior, and no one said a damn word. Like, sick. No one said a damn word. Hey, Hoosier. I know you're good and like you handle your own, and I know you. I can't. I had to do it. Like, I'm just so forking sick of it. And if, yeah, he always blames other people of the exact things he does. It's literally comical at this point. How many times he has done exactly that. Like, come on, people. Just think about what you're doing, you know? Nope, I don't know. He says he just like, I have no idea, but he just popped in and was like, well, he said that he thought he would be able to like be the voice of reason between the two camps. But wow. Even the stuff he was saying back then and people didn't even flinch. Come on. Yeah, he is. So he's so racist, and he's such a homophobe, a transphobe. Greeno is like he's all the phobes. Like it's sick. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, it's just crazy to me to like the good people that like have been targeted because of a difference of opinion on a forking case. Like the case is a huge deal. And it's a huge deal to the families and to Richard Allen and to the prosecuted, better be, to all of the above. And like that's going to be there. But to think that like things might just not looking right, like that is not even comparable to the shit that these people have been doing and saying right in front of your face. And for Weird Alex to be going on and people to be just like hanging on his every word is weird. And for him to be targeting Dawn? Are you kidding me? Like, it's just, you know, but it shows people haven't been around since 2017 because that, you know, or even 18, you know, like they like literally don't have a clue, but it's super gross. And he wants the money. He wants the money. And like, so this whole thing, in my opinion, that he's pulling that is his motive. He's wanting to discredit her, which is ridiculous. I guarantee you it never even crossed her mind about the reward fund because, you know, she'd said that because she's a reasonable, intelligent, sane person. And to see her being accused of being in like sex, like any of it, it's like so gross and untrue. and the stuff that's said about Hoosier is just bonkers and not true. And who's proven anything ever? Like, so, but there's tons of proof for what Greeno does. There's proof for what CJ does. There's proof for what other people do. There's proof for what the real Dragon Mark Cohen, aka Redfoot, has been doing. What? Huh? Weird Alex aligns. He's like, oh, like Rafi's so like he's just so normal and like really good, really like just doing like solid stuff. Like the Joe Lewis is like, yeah, like all of the people that he talks about are the most wild ones on the internet. Doesn't you think that says something about him? Like, so gross. Okay, we're gonna go into the very last segment. And then we'll be done. Oh! Oh my gosh, my friend is in labor. Hold on. I'm coming back. I just want to, I'll be right back. I'll play a video. Oh, since we just talked about this one, this is one you'll have to read, so sorry. Maybe, I can't remember. Oh. We were talking about this earlier, his last, like, unraveling and deleting his channel and doing all kinds of weird ass shit like he is right now. Did I, like, stop playing? Oops. Did I never play it? Sorry. I guess I'll read it to you then. No. Anthony Greeno went on a 2-hour live. Went on live 2 hours ago for 1 hour and 55 minutes. He titled the live and uploaded it thumbnail. This tells me he did this intentionally. Like, he went live and did this intentionally. Like, he had to make all of this stuff. He made a freaking thumbnail, people. Like, this wasn't like an accident or like him recording something suspicious. It's so ridiculous that people believe this. Is Anthony's background noise until this. After the window is opened by at least 2 people outside. So one person inside and one person outside. He turns the sound off and can be seen rising just left of his mic and camera.
Well, then come on, then.
There's a cord.
Quit talking shit and come on.
Inside of a house.
Come out here and just whoop my ass, dude.
Is this really how you would behave with someone breaking into your house when they're in the interior of your house, even if you are on a porch? Come on, then. Come out here and whip my ass. That doesn't make a lick of sense. Come on, people. See the cord? Watch the window. So he turned the sound off, right? Someone pulls the is like, what the heck? Did you see what I have a still shot of it. Fighting with someone inside of his house? Okay. He's pulling a knife. He's opening a switchblade. Like, come on. He's got it in his hand right there. That window is opening from the other side. So he is outside of the interior window. With the cord running in it to his computer for this weird whatever he's doing here. I think it's police officers, to be honest. I don't know. He's trying to keep them from pulling the plug on his stuff. And then the live ended. Oh, shocker. I don't know what that is on the wall. It just looked really weird. I don't know. Night, James. Hey, QRPBS Music Crime. Hey, DJ Wasteland. Saying that Yuba lets them get away with what they do. I mean, letting them keep channels. Yeah, I know. He did a threat to my life on like a YouTube, like, and it was like really bad. And it was like in his live show, right? And then I made it into a short, or yeah, and they like limited it because it was so violent, and like the graphic words, and like the threat, and like the danger. I still got to get around to redoing the one that who else would have done it but Greeno, the whole episode criminal history number 7 that got taken down, because that's all in 2018. But I'm not doing it yet because I'm currently awaiting on the Michigan courts, Muskegon courts, court documents. Finally figured out a way to get those. So until I get those, I'm going to wait to redo that live that just randomly one got taken down because I was threatening the safety of someone else, like another creator. Like, are you kidding me? They never could tell me anything that I did to violate TOS either, so it was like super weird. It's like, is saying someone's name violating TOS, and they like would not respond. I have all of the stuff. It's weird. But yeah, like, it is crazy that they just don't, I don't understand how they don't get at least like the videos taken down when they're like saying all this horrible stuff. Like, I don't understand it at all. And I know people report them. I reported, he did one on Twitter and I reported it. And they were like, this is fine. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, what the hell? Okay, so I wanted to read this just to really drive home the point. And this is from domesticshelters.org. This is the YouTube that I'm going to be putting these playlists in the description of this video. So even if you don't want to listen to me and like take any of my advice, please go take theirs. I beg of you. Especially if you talk to either one of those two women. You could save someone's life, okay? This is an excerpt from one of their this YouTube video right here. Cassandra Stewart was 17 years old at the time and a young mother at the time, and I asked what happened, and she told me that Cassandra had been stabbed to death in front of her girlfriends, and her girlfriends were her safety plan. And I asked about that history of domestic violence, and sure enough, 2 weeks prior, Cassandra had called the police to report that her ex-boyfriend had just choked her. Choked, strangle, suffocate, remember all those definitions of it, drowning, pillow over the face. The case was never got submitted for prosecution because there was no visible injuries. She was already recanting at the scene and minimizing, so under our protocol, the case was closed and never submitted for prosecution. And you can imagine my heart just sank. This is a prosecutor talking, by the way. At that moment, the guy even stopped stopped breathing, and so I asked the sergeant to meet. Let's have an informal death review and find out why that case didn't get submitted for prosecution so that we can learn from it. So this is a transcript, so it's not like really that easy to read. But they have it on this YouTube video. She gave me another call to tell me we had our second domestic violence homicide of the year involving Tamara Samantha, who was 16 years old at the time and also a young mother. And Tamara was strangled to death, then set on fire, left on a dirt road for her mother to find her. And my heart sank yet again. And when I asked about the history of domestic violence, I learned that Tamara also called police this time a month before to report that her ex-boyfriend had choked her. That case was making its slow way to the city attorney's office, but for all practical purposes, it wasn't prosecuted. So what was it? And something in my gut, and all advocates have this gut, something in my gut told me that these choking cases are different, and we missed it, and we could do better. And as I try to educate myself, I realized that the pathologist knew about non-fatal strangulation and strangulation. I did some research and found out all of the articles are written about women who died as a result of strangulation. Very, very little to nothing was written about. I need to just keep, I discovered that very little was known at the time about being strangled, and now we know so much. Let me give you one highlight. We know now that if you're strangled even one time, you're 750%. I don't quite understand where they're getting that percent, but more likely to be killed by your abuser. That abuser, strangulation is the last warning shot. My theme for today is something that our advocacy committee just came up with, and that's always ask and always do more. Anytime we are working with a victim of domestic violence, we have to ask us, has any pressure been applied to your neck by any means? Choking means different things to different people, so we have come up with a new way of trying to uncover if someone has been strangled. And I'm going to walk you through all these steps of importance. And then, so this is for like first responders and like police officers and things, that like walking them through, like this isn't for just like a regular person. And so this is the other one. And here are things that survivors have said to us over and over and over again, so much so that it's a theme. The biggest call that I get right now is from survivors who are cooperative, who want the case to go forward, and they feel that the professionals around them don't have the training, don't get it, don't understand, and they're seeing too many cases that start off as being a felony being reduced to misdemeanors. So once they go through this and they realize the danger, they need justice as a part of their healing. That's what I'm seeing in the work that I'm doing now. And what broke my heart, and probably what gives me the biggest sense of urgency right now, is if they don't kill them, they are robbing them of hope and or creating these long-term health consequences. And so medical attention is at the top of my list. We've got to keep our survivors alive. And strangulation, you're going to have a lot of internal injuries, not necessarily external injuries. And that's where everybody misses it. We're all looking for and been trained to look for those visible injuries. And then for some reason, we know when we see a visible injury, then we need to take it seriously. But I'm going to share a couple of things that I've learned that was a mistake. We just had to identify the victim who was strangled, and you have to assume that there is internal injury. We got to get that medical attention, and we got to get imagery so we can clear it. Was also learning from so many survivors who have like been like the health consequences and the traumatic brain injury. That's what I'm saying. Is like, stop forking about with like strangulation and like if it's like even a consent thing. They said strangulation may result in a mobilization of a victim, may cause loss of consciousness, injury, or even death, and has been a factor in a significant number of domestic violence assaults and fatalities. While not limited to the acts assault against an intimate partner, assault by strangulation is often knowingly inflicted upon an intimate partner with the intention to commit physical injury. A substantial and a great bodily harm. They know that they know what they're doing. Strangulation is a weapon of choice for offenders. They know that they can get away with it if they have no visible injury. But here's one of my favorite sentences that included the legislation intent. Strangulation is one of the most lethal forms of domestic violence. Why? Because you can cause somebody to pass out in a matter of seconds and die in a matter of minutes. And here's why they determined it needed to be a felony, because the particular cruelty of this offense and its potential effects upon a victim, both physically and psychologically, merit a felony offense. So I love the legislation intent and is something that you can use in your toolbox. Here's another one that is I'm a big fan of in California. These, I will add all of these things to the show notes, but this is a clip of, oh, I can't share that. Forgot to edit it. Anyways, most of you were there, so he definitely promised, I'll make it into a short. He definitely promised Galen that he would send her to Jamaica on a vacation. So, make it happen, all of you that were there. So I do not agree with how like this was obtained, but this right here is so, this is what I'm talking about. They will weaponize, they use fear, they will weaponize whatever you hold value in or love, so that be like this. That's why this is so significant, that he used her, like their dogs, against her. That is abuse. That is domestic abuse.
Hey, let me enlighten you on something, okay?
So what he's doing here is he's like, well, let me tell you. And then he goes into, haven't I been so nice to you? Like, I have done everything that you've asked of me. I have, I've just been so great. That all, like if he was doing that, that's the act. This is the real him about to come out, okay? But watch the change in his cadence. Listen to the change in his cadence here.
One, I had a few beers. I'm not drunk. Whatever victim card you want to play. Oh, I'm scared. Jenna, you could have come over here, or I could have come to your apartment. That's what we talked about, right?
See that? Like, he's like, all this, like her just being, histrionic. And like it's her fault that the dogs don't have food. It's disgusting.
But you were also supposed to be here yesterday, right? When me and my mom got here, because you said you wanted.
You said you wanted to see my mom. See the manipulation. Ugh.
To see her, but you weren't here, right? Okay, so glad we got that cleared up. Now you won't answer your fucking phone, and I told you that I don't have any food for the dogs. So the dogs haven't ate tonight, Molly and Ellie. They haven't ate because you said that you had that covered.
So the dogs haven't ate tonight because you said you have, like, really? So he is weaponizing her love for the dogs and like trying to make her feel like this is her fault, and they didn't eat. That is just no. Even if she did forget, if she didn't come over, to not feed the dogs to get back at her is so abusive. Like that is a very disturbed person. Hopefully Four Pits doesn't cop like whatever you can do for playing someone else's video. It's just this really
now you're not answering your phone, so I have no idea how the morning is gonna go. But you said get sober and we'll talk.
Duh. Why is that such a bad thing that she's doing? Get sober. We've all seen him on lives.
Jenna, I am sober. I've been nothing but nice to you tonight. I've been super sweet to you.
So nice.
And even with that being said, you're still trying to play this. So guess what, bitch? Fuck.
Did you see that? Did you hear that? Let's do it one more time.
Guess what, bitch? Fuck you.
I'm gonna go back far enough.
You're still trying to play this. So
Remember
guess
how
what,
he's been
bitch,
sounding?
right? But you
So
were also
even tone,
supposed to be here
but
yesterday,
very
right?
manipulative.
When me and my mom got here, because you said you wanted to see. That being said, you're still trying to play this.
Here
So
he
guess what, bitch? Fuck you.
Totally changed.
Fuck you. Because nothing is good enough for you. Nothing is good enough for you. Even though I was super sweet, I did every goddamn thing you could have asked.
This is gaslighting. This is the perpetrator blaming the victim. And this is something that Greeno does as well. This exact same thing.
Nothing is good enough for you. So I'm going to tell you two things. Here's number one. Number one, Motley, your little sweetheart, who you love so much, well, he has an A, Jenna. He has an A. And you knew that, and you didn't do a fucking thing about it. Fuck you. I'll figure it out. Number two, don't you fucking come to this goddamn house. Because you're a fucking lying, manipulative bitch. That's what you are. Hey.
So listen to that. Oh, listen to that. So calm in the beginning. Hey.
Hey, let me enlighten you on something, okay?
Hey. That one was a real doozy. Oh, yeah. Night Crime Geek. Actually, you know, it's been 3 hours. I have probably another hour and a half worth of content because I just work on it and then I don't go live, so I just like all builds up. And I just don't have it in me, and it's getting late, and I haven't eaten dinner, and we're going to have to do a part 2. You know, to get through all of the rest of the stuff, because I still have a whole document and then all the stuff that's on my phone. So, we're just gonna put a bookmark in it for this live, and, but I'm glad that I got the one part done, because that's like the main focus. The true crime community can, you know, and then Greeno is Greeno, so that'll, you know, just continue to be until, you know, the worst thing happens, or the courts and the law enforcement hold him accountable. It's but you definitely shouldn't be, and it's just been really disappointing lately, like that, oh, he's just doing so good. You know, like, no, he hasn't been at all. And now what? Now what? You gonna address all that he's done in the last couple of days? That is, you are the one that needs help. You are the one that needs to reevaluate your place in this community. If you're just gonna glide right past the fact that you have been paneling up with and allowing this mofo to come on your channel and act and telling everybody and vouching for him, and then see what he's doing now. Exactly what me, Burn, Truth, and a few others have been, truth be told, have been saying. And Truth and Justice does too. She did it the other night. I'm just like, she nailed it. So I don't want to fork an apology, but are you really just going to glide right over the fact that you just promoted this guy and vouched for him and paneled up with him, and then he does this, and you're just going to go back to, I don't like drama. I'm not about drama, so I'm just not going to say a forking word, really? All right. On that note, everybody, hope you have a great night. Thank you for being here. Thank you for my mods. Thank you. Hey, Angel Bear, just saw ya. Thank you for, if you had to do any moderating, thank you for that. Thank you for all of the members. I know there's not many, and I know I don't do much, but I know that you know why you're a member, and you do it because you just support what I do. And I love that so much. Professor Pug, Pigs Fly, are just a couple that I know for sure. So thank you guys, and thank you all for being here, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And if I get packed and everything, I may finish this tomorrow night, but I highly doubt it. So it's going to be sometime late next week. All right. Have a good night, everybody.